So making a button is a two-step process. You begin by drawing or creating some kind of button template that you then cut out. And then the second part is to take it over to the button machine itself and press it. So I'm going to start just designing my button using a program called Publisher, with most of us should have on our computers already. So Publisher, when you open it up, is going to look something like this. When we design this, I don't need to do it on a full 8.5 by 11 inch piece of paper, because I'm going to end up just transferring it over to this template here. So in Publisher, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to do more blank page sizes. And the advantage for something like this is I can now make pretty much any size I want. So if I want to make a huge poster to print out on the large format printer, I can do that. I'm just going to create new page size and enter the, with the dimensions right here. So just as a reminder, a poster printer can do a 24-inch width by whatever height you want, or vice versa if you wanted to do a width of 24 inches by a height by whatever you want. You just got to make sure that that one edge is 24 inches, it'll be too big. Now, that's way too big for our button, so I'm just going to make my button 3 inches by 3 inches. I'm going to click OK. I can see it right there, 3 inches by 3 inches, and I click Create. So when you make your button, you need to have two circles in place. The first is the full size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Insert, and I'm going to go to Shapes, and I'm going to go to the circle button here. Now the first circle, when we make it, needs to be 47 millimeters by 47 millimeters by 47 millimeters. Now right now it's showing it's a height of 1.99 inches by 1.96 inches. So I can sit here and guess or try to convert it, or I can just come up here to where it says height and select that number and type in 47 mm, and it will convert it for me. And I'll do the same thing with the width. I'll just select that 47 mm. And so now I've got a circle that's 47 millimeters by 47 millimeters. If I don't want this fill and all this other stuff, I just go up to Shape Fill, and I can say no fill so that it's white. I don't like the outline being so thick, so I'm going to click on the shape outline, and I'm going to go to the weight of that and just make it a 1/4 point so it's not quite so overwhelming. So there's my first circle. I can go ahead and make a second one. I can just go back to Insert and do that same thing again, where I go to Insert Shapes and grab a circle, or I can copy and paste this one. So Control plus C at the same time, Control C is my copy, and then Control plus V, Control V at the same time is my paste. I now have a second circle, and when I click on this one, I'm going to go over here to the format, the Drawing Tools format. And again, I'm just going to change the width and the height. This one needs to be 33 millimeters for the inside. So I'm going to click on this, type in 33 mm for 33 millimeters, and click on this one, 33 mm for 33 millimeters. And now I'm just going to bring this, and I can see that when I kind of get it in position, I'll get these guides. And so what I want to try to do is get the guide for both the left, both the center and the middle line there. So not quite, there it is. Oh, just missed it. There it is. So this is now pretty much centered inside the other circle. This inner circle, this is where my button face is going to go. This outer second circle, this is sort of the overlap area that's going to wrap around the mold so that it stays tight. So now all I have to do is just start to decorate inside there. So pretty much whatever my imagination comes up with. I might go to Insert, for example, and go to Word Art, and just choose something kind of basic like this A right here. And I'll just type in Cape Fear and click OK. And so now there's my words right there. Obviously way too big. I need to get them to fit inside this smaller circle. So I'm going to click on these handles in the corner and drag them in side here, just to kind of get this to be a little bit smaller. And I can then have some fun with this. So I can come up, and if I've got the Word Art Tools Format tab selected, I can go to Change Shape, and I can say Follow a Path. So I might find this circular path right here. And I'm going to adjust this by, again, clicking on the handles. So I'm clicking on the center handle here. I'm going to drag that up and kind of increase the arc. And then I'm just going to drag it and move it down a little bit. Pinch this a little bit because it's a little bit too wide. It's not fitting in that circle very well. So I'm going to just pinch that in. Oops, I've just moved the circle. And so now I'm going to grab this again and kind of move it into position. You can keep adjusting these handles and kind of see if you can come up with the shape that you want. So that's kind of close right there. It's not perfect, but it's good enough for right now. And then I might do the same thing with Academy. So I'm going to go back to Insert. I'm going to go to Word Art and grab this same text, ACADEMY. So Cape Fear Academy, click OK. Again, resize it. If I grab the corner, I can grab it and it will well, actually I gotta hold the shift button down, and then it will keep the same perspective. So if I hold down shift while grabbing the corner and dragging, it won't stretch it. Otherwise I can, stretch it like that and it would look really funny. So I can just take my Academy and I'm gonna bring it down over here. Again, with word art of just format selected there, I'm gonna click on change shape and maybe do a bottom one this time, and drag this down a little bit, drag this up a little bit to increase that arc, so that we kind of get the look that we're going for. Need to move it in a little bit, it's a little bit too wide. So again, I want it to be inside this inner circle, so I'm just gonna move it over a little bit more, drag it down a little bit more. And there's my Cape Fear Academy. Now if I want this inner circle to be filled, I can click on the circle, and again I go to the format and I can go to shape fill. And I can choose a light blue if that's what I want, or whatever color I want to go, so that I have some kind of background there. So I might just click on the light blue just like that. The other thing that you can do is you can go into the shape fill and you can choose a gradient, and then you might have some kind of just blend from one color to another. You can control that with more gradients, so you can select your colors here and here and what you want. So if I wanted to do a path or a linear path or whatever, so I can just kind of make all these things however I want, customize it however I want. So I've got all these selections. I can just change the color by clicking there and do a darker color if I wanted to. All right, so sort of getting everything right there, like good. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go to Insert and Pictures, just to add a little image here. And I just happen to have all the logos saved on the computer. So here are my logos here. And I'm just gonna go to this folder and grab not that one. I was hoping to find just the shield right there. So go ahead and hit Insert on that. It's a little big, so I'm gonna grab the corner, shrink it down so that it actually fits, stick it right there in the center, and boom. So there's kind of my design. Kind of be okay with that, okay? So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna select all of these things. So I'm just going to click and drag and draw a box around them all. And so now you can see everything has been selected. And if I right click on that, I can save this as a picture. And so when I do that, I'm just gonna call this, I'm gonna make sure that I'm clicking on my desktop first of all. And I'm just gonna call this pin and click on save. And all I have to do now is go back into the template right here, and I'm gonna insert an image, and I'm gonna upload it from my computer. And if I scroll down here, there's the pin that I just made. I'm gonna click on open, and I'm gonna drag it over, and I can see that it's actually a little bit too big. So what I can do is I can go on the format options here and go to size and rotation. And again, it's the same kind of thing. So what I need this to be is I need to be 4.7 millimeters, or 4.7 centimeters by 4.7 centimeters. That was the percentage. So I want this to be 4.7 centimeters in the height, 4.7 centimeters. And now that should work. It should fill that in nicely and kind of move it into place. If I wanted to, I could even just take this original image here and I could delete that and move this back over into place. And then I'm just gonna put my name underneath there so that I know it's mine. And then once we get all these filled in, we'll be able to print them out, and then we can show you how to work the button press. All right, so I'm ready to make my button now, and essentially I just need 4 things. I need the image that I just created, and I've cut it out, and I haven't been overly careful with it. You can see it's not perfect, just so that you're fairly close on that. You're gonna need a metal form. You're going to need the plastic cover, and then you're also gonna need the pin backing. And all I have to do now is just set up the machine. So if we move a little bit closer here, what I'm gonna do is in the first mold there, I'm gonna take my metal form and I'm gonna put that in first. So the metal form has a kind of a bent side and then a flat side. So I wanna put this bent side down inside so it just fits right in the middle like that. I'm then gonna take the image that I've created and I'm gonna put that in, and I wanna put that in as close to sort of being up and down as I can, sort of like that. And then I take a plastic cover and I put that over the top. I'm then going to slide the molds over. I'm going to take the pin backing, all right, and I want to make sure that the pin itself, so the pin itself is right here, okay, and this is where it comes down. I'm going to put that down like that and then just drop that in the hole right there, okay? And again, I want that to be kind of as straight across as I can. And then it's just as simple of grabbing the handle and give it a nice little punch, move over to the other side, and then punch it again. Again, applying a little bit of force when you do that. And then when you come out, there's your button.